And as always, we're going to be looking for accurate context, good risk management, and always exercising good patience.
Everybody who's traded has gone through periods of time where their strategy hasn't worked.
Where if not a hard stop, you should reevaluate the trades you're in based on time.
That's what we're here for, is to put ourselves in the best success. A trading routine does that, builds that habit, lets you know what to work on, what to reflect on, and what to improve on the next day.
Good morning and welcome to the market forecast for Capital Preservation Friday, September the 2nd. My name's John Hoagland. Thanks for trusting me with your time. If you're already in the markets, hopefully you've got things going your way. But as always, our focus is on finding accurate context, good risk management, and staying patient. 7:30, the unemployment numbers, or as we used to call them on the trading floor, the unenjoyment numbers came out. Non-farm payrolls last month, 528,000. They were looking for 300,000 this month, and it came out a little bit better at 315,000. Private non-farm payrolls, 471,000 last month, looking for the same as non-farm payrolls this morning at 300,000, came out better at 308,000. However, there is a slight uptick in the unemployment rate, 3.5% last time, looking for it to remain the same at 3.5%, came out at 3.7%. So a little bit of an uptick in unemployment. Why then did equities, why did stocks lurch higher afterwards? I have a theory about this. Maybe right, maybe wrong. Nobody really knows 100% anything, but I think that the investors and traders are thinking that a little bit higher unemployment rate may stem demand for products, which, with everything always being about interest rates and inflation these days, that may help quell inflation just a little bit. So we're going to have to see how all this plays out throughout the day. We're going to be checking through the charts here. It was kind of strange this morning, kind of waking up and seeing the markets just idling. It's really just, I don't mean it's strange. It's just, it just makes sense, really. We're still waiting for the factory orders numbers coming out at 9 o'clock this morning. They're looking for, a little bit of a lower expectation from the last one. Previous factory orders, 2%, looking for 0.2% this time. One thing about the employment numbers, the participation rate looks like it may have fallen just a little bit. Let me double check this. The labor participation rate, actually it came out a little bit higher than expected. Earnings, however, hourly earnings month over month were lower. Average weekly hours were lower. So again, it looks like there may be some idea that a little bit of less demand may be beneficial for the interest rates and for inflation. So your stock futures are just idled all night. We get a little bit of an uptick here after the numbers come out. Apparently, going to be some relief for Europe. Apparently, they're going to get some gas from the Nord Stream pipeline set to resume on Saturday. So hopefully, a little break in gas prices in Europe. Crude prices start higher, but still kind of set to close the week lower. In the 4-week area of balance, we've got weekly kickoff high and low that have really kind of enveloped trade for the last 2 weeks. We went from low to high last week, high to low this week. Still in that range, about 4 or 5 weeks now in that range. Still waiting for new information for some sort of change. There's been some decent opportunities in crude oil. Don't kid yourself over the last 4 or 5 weeks, but overall in a kind of a medium time frame, it's been largely range bound. We're going to see that on the charts actually as well. Today is National Food Bank Day. Give it to your national food bank. Give it to your food bank, of course. As the VIX is a little bit lower this morning at 25.20. Dollar index 109.34, also a little bit lower after putting in new 52-week highs yesterday. And the yield on the 10-year, same as it was yesterday at this time, 3.25% as always. If you like what you see, hit the lucky like button. Share, commenting, questioning, feedback, heckling, and love are always welcome here on the Market Forecast. And please subscribe to our YouTube channel so you can get notification when you do go live. If you do like the Market Forecast, hit the lucky like button. Tell your friends. If you don't like anything on the Market Forecast, tell me, Jay Hoagland at topstep.com. All right, got to say good morning to everybody. We got Charles March, first one in the room. Charles wins the prize this morning. Jules, good morning. Brian Shaw, Capital Preservation Friday, 100%. Brody, Patient Friday. Theo, good morning. Orion Dark Kevin, Dimitar, Michael Knight, good morning. Bill, Serenity Trader, hola. Terry King, Vince, good morning. My brother Rick, love you. Jan, Rob T, good morning. Rusty Golfer, my spirit animal. Trading Research, Sarah Hall, good morning. Prayers and love to you as well. Grim Reaper Trader, good to see you. Dr. VJ, always a pleasure. Unicus with his quote of the day. Love these, Unicus. Limitations live only in our minds. If we use our imaginations, our possibilities become limitless. Love that one. Another kind of hat tip to the creativity it takes to be a profitable trader. Thank you again for posting those, Unicus. I love them. I know everybody enjoys them. Marcelo, good morning. Jerry is awake, and I hope John is too. Haggle Matters, good morning. Ron, good to see you. Scott Saw, and he conquered. Dan Trader, Stephen C., JD, Rock and Roll, Snowflake, Mike H., and Stephen C. Any deals for Labor Day on Top Step? Well, you'll just have to wait and see. I know there's something coming out over the Labor Day weekend and just afterwards, so we'll have to see, Stephen C. Three Lions, good morning. And we are ready to, as JD says, we're ready to rock and roll. Ready to rock and roll. It is Capital Preservation Friday. Make some money early. Think about starting your weekend. It's a long weekend. Don't forget, limited trading hours on Monday. I suggest and I authorize all of you to go ahead and take the day off. Take a nice extended weekend. Be ready for action again on Tuesday morning. We'll have the market forecast 7:45 on Tuesday. No market forecast or other services on Monday. We're taking the day off. You should take the day off. It's always good to get away. All right. Ricardo, good morning. Say hi to my son, 10-month Rico. He's watching today. Good morning, Rico. It's good to see you. I hope you're feeling nice and warm and happy today, Rico. All right. So again, it is a 3-day weekend here in the U.S., Labor Day weekend. Don't bother trading on Monday. It'll be very slow, very illiquid, probably not much range unless something goofy happens. But Alan, good to see you. Lacey, what is it? Lacey's trying to say good morning. You can see her little snoot here. Big snoot, I should say. She's a beast. Okay, I know. I gotta go to work. I gotta go to work. She keeps moosing me. Here you can see. I'm gonna get up here. I'm gonna get up. Hi. Hello, everyone. This is Lacey. I know. Okay. Can I go to work now? Can I go to work? No? All right. All right. Now I'll take care of business and I get you. All right. Let's see. Still moosing me here. She must need to go. Well, just hold tight, Lace. We'll be out there in no time. Here's the daily in the S&Ps. All right. Wow, what a day yesterday, huh? Okay, a couple of things we checked off yesterday in the S&Ps. Our head and shoulders target, check. The the 26th of July swing low, check. Do we have a rejection below weekly kickoff low? Check. Did we trade to the day that we thought that the market was making a change in personality in a longer time frame? Check. Unemployment? Well, we're getting good reaction off unemployment. So does that mean we are free to start looking for opportunities to buy weakness in this market? Well, we had a late spike yesterday. Check. The base of the late spike is all the way down at 39.5875, down about here, relatively close to weekly kickoff low. If you remember yesterday, we opened lower and my dream target, my dream level for the day was back to weekly kickoff high. We did get a nice bounce off of it for about 15 or 20 points, but eventually we broke out, showing daytime frame rejection below this level. Take a look at it back here again on the daily chart. All shadow, all wick down below there. The market looked and was swiftly rejected in that area. If we can hold weekly kickoff high, basically the base of the late spike, we may be in pretty good shape for continuation to the upside. Do we have any overnight inventory? Not until we jumped out the upside of the overnight range here. So we may be starting to accumulate some overnight longs. We've got plenty of space and relatively organized move to the downside here. We don't have any real we don't really have any unchecked naked points of control. We just kind of blasted through the one from 2 days ago. So you were probably, like Dead Letter Opener says, we're probably going to see some short covering today if we're not seeing it already. No overnight inventory, but we've been moving steadily down back to the daily chart for some time. Being a Friday, if I were short and I had a bunch of money in it, I would certainly be thinking about trimming some of those profits today. Just the fact that we're going to be opening with the gap and above the late spike says, well, we're going to be looking for opportunities to buy weakness, but it is, I'm afraid, going to complicate things a little bit for us on the open here this morning. Be careful, be cautious. If you miss something, don't go chasing. Opportunities will keep coming throughout the day. Here's the crude oil. Weekly kickoff low, last week's low, finds support. Last week we went from low to high. This week we go from high to low. Are we just going to continue to bounce back and forth in this longer time frame? I'm calling this a kind of a medium time frame area of balance. Seems to be what the market is attempting to do. Volume and open interest was lower yesterday on this attempt to see some continuation down below weekly kickoff low. Balance rules still apply until they don't. What are we looking at on the 30? Opening here in just a couple of minutes. We're going to be opening with a gap in a gap. All of our real kind of unfinished business is to the upside. We've got naked point of control here, naked point of control here, naked point of control here. We took care of all the gaps and naked points of control on the way down. Now what are we doing? We're going to take care of all the gaps and naked points of control on the way up. We're opening out of balance. Opening range may be interesting for us. What else do I have here? So it looks like we're going to be opening with a gap in a gap. Let's talk about the Nasdaq for a couple of minutes, and then maybe we'll come back and see what happens with the opening range trade in crude oil. Very similar situation. We did not check one thing here on the list here for the Nasdaq, and that is we didn't truly get to the target for our head and shoulders. We did trade to this swing low here from the 26th, so we checked that one. We have a rejection below weekly kickoff low. We had a nice drive to the downside. Look at how this 1, 2, 3 resistance. This is the day when things changed a little bit for us. Look at where we traded to yesterday. Right back to that trend line. 1, 2, 3. The breakout. Back to it. Rejection. Now back above weekly kickoff high. And we do have a late spike. Let's take a quick look back at the opening range here in crude oil. And I hate to go jumping back and forth, but I want to see what we've got going on here. 16 tick opening range so far, 30 seconds left to go. Remember, opening inside in a gap inside a previous gap. What do we have? Overnight long inventory. $30 tick opening range now, and that's kind of manageable as far as risk is concerned. Low of the opening range, 89.01, 89.31, the high of the opening range, taking out the low of the opening range now. We'll go back and see how this played out for us as we get closer to the end of the forecast. Here's the 30-minute chart on the Nasdaq. Again, no real overnight inventory. We have a late spike. The base of the late spike in the Nasdaq is 12,253. 12,253. The start of it is all the way down here, however, which is 12,182. What are the rules for the late spike? What is a late spike? A late spike is when at the end of the session, price moves quickly away from previous balance and doesn't have time to show acceptance through time. So the following day when we open flat out above a late spike, it is the strongest signal that price is accepting higher pricing. If we open in the late spike, it's still a sign of acceptance of higher pricing, just not as strong. And opening below the base of the late spike would have us rejecting higher pricing. As things sit now, it looks like we're going to be opening above the late spike, which is our strongest potential probability for acceptance of higher pricing. Nothing ever has to happen, and we never know the outcome truly of anything. So we're just using probabilities, and opening above this late spike is our a good probability of acceptance of higher pricing. Price could come all the way back to the base of the late spike or even the beginning of the late spike, and it can still mean that the market is still accepting higher pricing by the way it opens. So the late spike rules, opening above the late spike is the highest probability of acceptance of higher pricing. We're probably going to be looking for opportunities to buy this market on weakness if we get that opportunity today. Probably going to be opening with a gap. If we can't close the gap relatively early, that's another special situation, right? We got a late spike. We got a late spike opening above the late spike. The inability to close that gap to the high of the late spike is also telling us we're going to be looking for opportunities in the direction of the gap, which would have us also looking for longs. The last time we saw a late spike, I think in the equities was when it was on a Friday when Powell started speaking. It was last Friday. We had a late spike. We opened above the late spike or in the late spike. Powell spoke and changed everything. If he didn't speak that day, I would think that there would be a different outcome from last Friday. But we at the outcome we got. So let's take a look at gold now. All right. We've got quite the little pyramid here, don't we? The downside auction is still presenting as healthy. We added a 3,800 in open interest on higher volume yesterday. This swing low down here on the 21st, that swing low, I mentioned it yesterday, is 1696.10. Our low yesterday, we couldn't quite get there, 1699.10. So 30 ticks away from that swing low, we couldn't get there. We've been moving relatively steadily to the downside. The auction process to the downside is, of course, healthy. I'm starting to again wonder if this is getting too cheap, if we're going to see some short covering, some profit taking on a Friday. I know if I were short and sitting upon a pile of money, I would probably peel some off before the weekend. So, are we primed for profit taking? It seems that might be the case here already. Here's the 30-minute. So we opened, left the opening range initially at the high of the session. As soon as the employment numbers came out, we had a big knee jerk to the upside, which almost took out this naked point of control here. We opened again similar to, I think it was crude oil opening with a gap in a gap. So we've just traded in regular trading hour to the high of the gap. To the low of the gap here might be an interesting opportunity for us. We are holding a lot of overnight longs in here. So, but if we can't close this gap in regular trading hours, which we may have here just prior to the 7:30 numbers, this may be pretty supportive here, especially if we're going to be looking at a potential short covering, profit taking type of day. The euro, how exciting. Still stuck inside last week's high and low. Took a look down to last week's low yesterday. Volume has actually been pretty decent. It's increasing. We have an increase in open interest again today of 4,800 contracts. But where is the market attempting to go? It's not really attempting to go anywhere. It seems like there's energy coming into it for a potential change, and that potential change is going to happen at the extremes. And currently our extremes are last week's low and last week's high. Take a look at the 30-minute chart. All overnight longs, the dollar kind of coming off its recent high here. Again, another 52-week high in the dollar just yesterday. We're just hanging just off of that. But still, short time frame controlled. If I just put all this in here, there's just short time frame controlled, short time frame levels holding. Yesterday, short time frame level holding. Today, our current high, another short time frame level in the value low from 2 days ago. It's just that there's so many short time frame targets, it's difficult to know which is the one that's going to operate for us correctly. So stay patient. This whole day, this whole area here, this whole session in one profile is getting relatively even. We've got value high here. We've got value low here for the last 2 weeks. We're looking for change, and I don't see and know how and when it's going to happen. But we're starting to look like a pretty even bell curve. And when that bell curve gets very even, it's more likely that that price will go looking for opportunities to trade, to facilitate more trade. It's working on using up its ability to facilitate trade in this area. All right, for the 10-year, again, we've got a lot of potential shorts that are sitting on piles of money here. We looked below weekly kickoff low and rejected yesterday. We've got an inside day in extended trading hours here. We got a little bit of what looks like a dead cat bounce here on the 30-minute chart. We come all the way down here. We're just dragging along the weekly kickoff low. A little bit of knee-jerking going on here with the unemployment numbers coming out. No real acceptance down below this level. Settlement was back above it, 115.31.5, with 115.30 being the weekly kickoff low. We're still holding here. Got a big gap above all of our unfinished business, naked points of control, and other gaps and the such are all higher. There's nothing really to focus on visually down below, and that tells me if we're going to start looking to take some profits on this, it's a good start for us right here. And now the natural gas, still range bound, just still testing and testing and testing the lower end of the area of balance here. We added a 2,700 in open interest yesterday. Volume continues to increase as rollover comes to an end. Still range bound. Take a look. Traded to a naked point of control from 2 days ago here after the open. Here's the kind of extremes of the lows here. We were looking at these two lows. Kind of opening in an area of potential repair between this point of control, which has been checked, to this point of control. Be watching. At the end of the day, we're not going to be having a recap today, but I'm going to make sure and double check and see if that hypothesis was correct. I'm still fascinated with this market, even though it scares me to trade it. I'm going to have to make sure and check that out. Let's go back and see how our opening range trade has killed us in crude oil. Opening range to the downside first, taking out the high. So not a good idea to take that opening range trade here in crude oil in an area of rejection. We've got the gap. We still haven't closed this gap in regular trading hours. No gap close. Looking for opportunities to buy weakness. Lots of visuals upside in crude oil. Righty. So, again, happy Capital Preservation Friday to everyone. Wanted, can you try and explain the implications of the EU cap on Russian oil? Oil should become more expensive, which should make everything more expensive. Wanted, yeah, there was some news about that, and of course, Russia is not going to be really receptive to a cap on the price for Russian oil. I don't really know what else I can say about it. I haven't had the opportunity to read up that much on that situation. Brian, the tick stream, is there a video on this? I don't think that we currently have a video on the tick stream. It's probably a good idea, but I don't necessarily use it. I find that looking at the dome in specific time frames, at specific times, if I'm looking for a breakout, I can tend to see the increased participation right in the dome. Nothing wrong with the tick stream. Something we'll have to take a look at getting more of a view on, Brian. I think that's might be kind of a good idea. It kind of makes me crazy to watch it. I do pay attention to Delta, which you do see Delta, working on the tick stream. You can see what side of the market the trades were traded on, whether they were on the bid or were on the offer. There's benefits to it, and there's probably things that aren't so good with it as well, just like everything. We'll think about getting something put together for that. Maybe we'll try and watch it one of these mornings on the open in crude oil to see if there's any way that we can see it. There's going to be a lot of time where it's just not going to mean anything, and it's going to be a very useful tool when it means something, because there's nothing that works every time. There's nothing that never works. And the important part of it is the important time is to be looking at it at the right time, right? How do I get above the 10.8? I've been here literally over 10 times, and it seems as soon as I get there, I pull back to 10.5, then go back to 10.8. And the advice, Orion, don't focus on the money. Focus on your process. Focus on finding the next good trade. Find that if you focus on the money, if you have a goal or a target of reaching a certain amount of money in a certain time, or you want to be done with the trading combine by a certain date, it tends to create the opposite experience because we're so focused on that we don't focus on what we need to do to get there. So forget about the dough. Look for the next good trade. Be a good risk manager, and you will get to your goal. If you focus on the goal, it seems to make it further away. It's very difficult doing this for a living and being a trader. It's never easy. So we need to make sure and get our rest. A lot of noise on the tick stream, yeah. Like everything, enough screen time, you can make sense of it. And a lot of the time is, you want to watch it when there's a breakout, when something important is happening. Trading research, that has been the bane of succeeding in the combine, is being in a hurry. Yeah, I mean, you're going to get there when you get there. The markets sometimes aren't gratuitous enough to get you to your goal in any given day. As a matter of fact, I used to have a goal in the S&Ps of a certain profit target per day. And I was within a couple of ticks of that profit target a number of times. My clerk would say, "Hey, I think you're done for the day. You're close enough." And I'd say, "Nah, I just want to get that extra tick or two." And that was enough to start a loss, and then another loss, and another loss, and another loss. Pretty soon you've taken a really good trading day and pretty much wrecked it, or even worse. So stay patient. Don't have those financial or time-based goals. Your goal is to stay with your process, stay in your strategies, stay patient, look for the good trade, and see what happens. So let's take our deep breath. Stay humble, grateful, and creative today in your trading. Have a great weekend. Well, first, have a great trading day. Get out there and profit today. Have a great weekend. Don't forget to say a prayer for peace. Pray for peace within yourself also. Be good to yourself. We work hard at this. We deserve to do something nice for ourselves, especially this long weekend. Be kind to others. And I will see you Monday morning Tuesday morning at 7:45, and Tuesday again for Make Hogue Money. We'll be all set to do that as well. So trade well, everyone. And yeah, it's a good idea, Ag Matters. Always be listening to some good music. Trade well today. I will see you in the proverbial trading pit here in just a couple of minutes. God bless. Blessings to everybody, and we'll see you on Tuesday. Have a great long weekend.